This same guy, he finds himself no longer ready to die. We all need to get that revelation that it's worth losing everything in our lives in order to gain Christ's approval. Amen? So the second stage in Peter's progression of commitment, this is where his fellowship became divided. And you remember when I talked to you on Saturday about some of the things in our lives that are our weapons of warfare. One of them is fellowship. Having fellowship with other believers. Being in fellowship with them. So Peter's fellowship became divided. In verse 55, it says, "Now when they had kindled a fire in the midst of the courtyard and sat down together, Peter sat among them." This guilty disciple, he's now mixing with an uncommitted crowd. And these are people who will go along with whatever happens in the world. So now Peter finds himself like a nomad, like a man without a country. Peter's just trying to get lost in this crowd, just like he's trying to be like anyone else in the world, instead of a true child of God. And when we get to this stage in our walk with the Lord, that's where compromise starts to settle in to our lives. And there's a saying that goes, if you don't stand for something, you'll stand for anything. So now Peter, he's somewhere between indifferent or uncaring and uninterested and committed. He's somewhere in that area. When we spend more time with the world and its ways, and we compromise our fellowship with true believers, like stopping going to church or going to our home groups or CU meetings, things like that, we'll become just like anybody else. We'll become uncommitted, unattached, and indifferent. So in stage 3 now with Peter, in his deviation of commitment, his faith became diluted. It became misled. In verse 57, it says, "But he denied him," meaning Jesus, saying, "Woman, I do not know him." His words now reveal his weakness. Even around men and women who don't pose any immediate threat to him. At the same time that Peter is around this little fire, and he's being interrogated by these little girls and other people, Jesus is over in another place, and he's being interrogated by King Herod and Pontius Pilate. And Jesus never denies who he is. He never denies who he is, but he confirms to these people who he is. Even during savage beatings, even during times, this mock trial that was happening, even during all these terrible things that were happening to Jesus, he could not deny himself. Because he came to do the will of the Father who sent him. Amen? Amen. But Peter, on the other hand, he's not being questioned by people who are very threatening. He caves in. He gives in to fear and the unknown. And he not only gives in, but he out and out lies that he doesn't even know.